Throwaway account because I never thought I'd be here, but I'm at a breaking point and I need to let this out. Maybe some of you can give me advice, or maybe I just need strangers to hear the truth because I feel like I'm going crazy. I am 38, have been married to my wife Claire, F 36, for 12 years. We've got 2 kids together, 10 and 7, and for the longest time I thought we had a rock-solid marriage. We weren't perfect, but I honestly believed we were the kind of couple people envied. Our house was always full of noise, kids running around, weekend BBQs, birthday parties, even lazy movie nights with popcorn. I thought we were happy. I thought she was happy. Claire has always been ambitious, sharp, and confident. That's part of what drew me to her in the first place. But over the last year, things started to feel different. At first, I brushed it off. She'd pull away when I tried to kiss her, saying she was exhausted or had a headache. No big deal, right? Everyone goes through phases. But then she started working late. A lot. She said her job had picked up and she had to take calls at night. I wanted to believe her. But the calls would last hours, sometimes with her locked in another room, whispering. The phone became a whole other issue. Claire used to leave it on the kitchen counter or nightstand, no problem. But suddenly, she guarded it like a hawk. She carried it everywhere, even to the bathroom. If it buzzed and I happened to glance over, she'd flip it face down and glare at me. When I asked what was going on, she snapped, "Jesus, Ethan, why are you so paranoid? Do you want me to start checking your phone too?" Always bitchy, always defensive. I kept telling myself it was stress, or maybe we were just in a rut after so many years of marriage. But in the pit of my stomach, I knew something was wrong. That gut feeling was eating away at me, but I tried to shove it down. Tried to convince myself that she wouldn't do something like that. Not her. Not my wife. But I was wrong. And ignoring those signs only made what came next hit harder. The night everything shifted is burned into my brain. It was a Friday, and Claire said she was meeting a client for drinks. Her tone was casual, but I caught something in her voice that didn't sit right. It wasn't nerves, like she had a big presentation coming. It was excitement. The kind of excitement you hear when someone's about to see their crush. I remember standing in the kitchen, kids already in bed, as she got ready. She put on this fitted black dress I hadn't seen her wear in years. Full makeup, heels, even perfume, the kind she usually only bothered with for anniversaries. When I teased her lightly, "Wow, pretty dressed up for a client," she rolled her eyes and shot back, "Do you want me to look like a slob?" God, Ethan, you always find something to criticize. That stung, but I kept my mouth shut. Something told me not to push it. When she left, my chest was tight. My gut screamed at me, "Follow her." I grabbed my keys and got in the car, hands shaking as I started the engine. I felt crazy, like one of those paranoid husbands in the movies, but I couldn't stop myself. Every red light on the way felt like torture. She drove downtown, to this trendy bar we'd actually been to once years ago. I parked a block away, my heart hammering in my throat, palms slick with sweat. I felt like a criminal sneaking around my own life. Through the window, I saw her almost immediately. Claire. My wife. Sitting across from some guy in a sharp suit, laughing like she hadn't laughed with me in years. Her whole body leaned toward him. She touched his arm lightly when she laughed, and it wasn't the casual, client laugh. It was flirtatious, intimate. Then came the moment that shattered everything. He leaned in and kissed her. And she didn't pull away. She kissed him back. I froze. I don't even remember breathing. It was like my brain short-circuited, this couldn't be real. Claire, my wife, the mother of my kids, wasn't at work. She wasn't tired. She was with another man, rewriting the story of our marriage while I sat outside like some pathetic extra in a movie I didn't sign up for. I couldn't bring myself to walk in. Couldn't make a scene. I just turned and walked back to my car, numb. Drove home in silence, headlights blurring in my vision as I gripped the steering wheel like it was the only thing holding me together. When I got home, I sat in the driveway for what felt like hours. My wedding ring suddenly weighed a ton. The truth was clear, she had been lying for a long time, and I was the last one to know. When Claire came home that night, she slipped through the door like nothing had happened. She kicked off her heels, tossed her purse on the couch, and gave me this quick fake smile before heading upstairs. I just sat there, staring at her, my mind replaying that kiss on a loop. "Did you close the deal with your client?" I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. She froze mid-step. Then she turned, narrowed her eyes, and said, "What's that supposed to mean?" Her tone was already defensive, like she knew where this was going. "I followed you," I admitted, my chest burning. "I saw you at the bar. I saw you with him. Don't you dare lie to me, Claire." Her face changed instantly. First shock, then anger. "You followed me? Are you kidding me, Ethan? Do you have any idea how insane that is? You're spying on me now." She didn't deny it. Not once. Instead, she flipped it on me, making me the villain. I couldn't believe it. "Stop dodging it," I said, standing up. "Who the hell was that guy?" She crossed her arms, glaring. "He's a colleague. We're working on a project together." "God, you're so insecure." "He kissed me, okay?" I pushed him away. "If you hadn't been stalking me, you wouldn't even know about it." Except I knew what I saw, her laughing, leaning in, kissing him back. She wasn't pushing anyone away. "Don't lie to me, Claire. You were into it." That's when she lost it. She raised her voice, threw her hands in the air, and shouted, "You always twist everything. No wonder I don't want to be around you. You're paranoid, controlling, and suffocating. I can't even breathe in this marriage anymore." Her words hit harder than the kiss. She wasn't just cheating, she was rewriting our entire relationship, painting me as the problem. I tried to keep it together, but my voice cracked as I said, "We have kids, Claire. What the hell are you doing to us?" She just shook her head, grabbed her phone off the couch, and muttered, "You're pathetic," before storming into the bedroom and slamming the door. That night, I slept on the couch, wide awake, staring at the ceiling. My marriage wasn't just cracked, it was broken wide open. And somehow, she was acting like it was my fault. I didn't sleep that night. Not a minute. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her at that bar, her hand on his arm, her lips on his. My wife. The woman I built 12 years of memories with. The worst part? She was asleep upstairs, probably dreaming peacefully while I lay on the couch feeling like I'd been gutted. I kept staring at my wedding ring, twisting it around my finger, wondering if the last decade of my life had been a lie. The next morning, Claire came downstairs acting like nothing had happened. She poured herself coffee, scrolled through her phone, and when I tried to talk, she cut me off with, "Ethan, I don't want to have the same stupid conversation again. You embarrassed yourself last night." End of story. End of story. That's what she called my marriage falling apart. I felt crazy. She twisted everything so well that part of me actually wondered if maybe I was paranoid. Maybe I had seen things wrong, maybe I had blown it out of proportion. But then I remembered the kiss. Clear as day. No amount of her lies could erase it. Throughout the weekend, she kept throwing jabs. If I asked where she was going, she'd snap out. "Do you want me to check in every time I breathe?" If I tried to hug her, she'd recoil like I was a stranger. She even accused me of ruining her social life by following her. Meanwhile, I was falling apart. I couldn't eat, couldn't focus on the kids, couldn't think about work. My whole body felt heavy, like I was carrying a secret I couldn't unload. I tried to keep it together for the kids, smiling, helping with homework, pretending everything was fine, but inside, I was drowning. That Monday, I sat in my car outside work for almost an hour before going in. My chest felt tight, my head was pounding. I wasn't just angry anymore, I was broken. I realized that Claire hadn't just betrayed me physically. She had stopped loving me a long time ago, and I had been too blind to see it. And the cruelest part? She acted like I was the problem. After that weekend, things didn't calm down. They got worse. Claire suddenly became busier than ever. 3 nights in a row, she claimed she had late meetings. But when I casually asked what client or project it was for, she snapped, "God, Ethan, you wouldn't understand. Why do you need every detail of my life? Are you my husband or my parole officer?" Her bitchy tone cut me every time, but what really burned was how sloppy her lies were getting. One night she said she was at a work dinner, but I saw on our credit card statement that she'd been at a fancy rooftop lounge, the kind of place no one goes to talk about spreadsheets. When I asked her about it, she rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, for F***'s sake. We moved locations. Do you want me to call my boss and have him confirm my every move?" Asterisk. The gaslighting was relentless. Then came the nail in the coffin. I found her second phone. It was hidden in her gym bag, buried under a pile of clothes. I wasn't even snooping, I was grabbing a towel before heading to the gym. The screen lit up, and a message flashed across, "Can't stop thinking about Friday. Same place this week." My blood went cold. I picked it up, heart racing, but before I could unlock it, Claire stormed into the room. Her face went pale when she saw me holding it. "What the hell is this?" I asked, my voice shaking. She didn't even try to deny it this time. She lunged at me, snatched the phone, and hissed, "You had no right to touch my stuff. You're unbelievable, Ethan. Do you know how invasive you are?" Not a word about the text. Not a single explanation. Just pure deflection. That night, she didn't even come to bed. She slept in the guest room with the door locked. I lay awake again, staring at the ceiling, realizing the truth, she wasn't sorry. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. And somehow, she still managed to make me feel like the crazy one. My heart was breaking, but something inside me was hardening too. For the first time, I started thinking, maybe this marriage wasn't worth saving. By this point, I was done walking on eggshells. The second phone had stripped away whatever illusions I had left. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't insecure. My wife was cheating, lying, and gaslighting me every chance she got. One night, after another mysterious meeting, she came home at nearly midnight. Her hair was messy, her lipstick smudged, and she reeked of a man's cologne that sure as hell wasn't mine. She walked in like nothing was wrong, humming to herself, scrolling on her phone. That's when I snapped. "Who is he, Claire?" I demanded. My voice wasn't calm anymore, it was raw, trembling with rage. She didn't even flinch. She just tossed her keys in the bowl by the door and sighed like I was an annoying coworker pestering her. "Oh my God, Ethan. Not this again. Do you seriously have nothing better to do than interrogate me every night?" "I found your second phone," I shot back. "I saw the texts. I know you're seeing someone." For the first time, her mask slipped. Her eyes widened, just for a split second, before she smirked and said, "So what if I am? What are you going to do about it? You can't even keep me interested, let alone happy." That cut deep, deeper than anything she'd said before. But I held my ground. "You're destroying this family," I told her. "Our kids don't deserve this. They don't deserve lies." And then she exploded. She started yelling so loud the kids woke up upstairs. She called me pathetic, boring, controlling, said I was the reason she needed excitement. She even had the audacity to claim she was entitled to some fun, because I hadn't been paying enough attention to her. I stood there, shaking, trying to keep my cool while my children stood on the stairs, wide-eyed and terrified. That broke me more than the affair ever could. Watching my kids see their mom like that, venom dripping from her mouth, all while tearing me down, I realized this wasn't just about me anymore. This was about protecting them. That night, after she stormed off to the guest room again, I sat at the kitchen table until sunrise. I knew something had to change. I couldn't keep letting her rip my sanity apart piece by piece. I had to decide whether I was going to keep fighting for someone who clearly didn't give a damn, or finally put myself, and my kids, first. The morning after the blow-up, I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. Dark circles under my eyes, jaw clenched, a constant knot in my chest. I wasn't living, I was just surviving Claire's chaos. That day, on my lunch break, I called a divorce lawyer. My hands were shaking as I dialed, but the moment the receptionist answered and set me up with a consultation, I felt a strange wave of relief. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, I was taking back a little control. I also confided in my best friend, Mark. He'd known Claire and me since college, and I half expected him to say I was overreacting. Instead, when I told him about the bar, the second phone, the gaslighting, he just sighed and said, "Man, I've noticed something was off with her for a while. I didn't want to interfere, but you're not crazy. She's been checked out for months." Hearing that hurt, but it also validated everything I'd been feeling. When I got home that night, Claire was on the couch, scrolling through her phone, smirking at something on the screen. I wanted to ask who she was texting, but I didn't. Not this time. Instead, I sat down across from her and said calmly, "I talked to a lawyer today." The way her head snapped up, you'd think I'd slapped her. "Are you kidding me?" she snapped. "You're seriously going to ruin our family because you can't handle me having friends? You're pathetic, Ethan." But for once, her words didn't crush me. They bounced off. I just looked her in the eye and said, "You already ruined this marriage. I'm not covering for you anymore." Her face twisted into something cold. She stood up, muttered something under her breath I couldn't quite catch, and stormed upstairs. I sat there, strangely calm, realizing that the war was no longer about her lies. It was about what kind of future I wanted for myself and my kids. And for the first time in a long time, I knew the answer, a future without her poison. Once Claire realized I wasn't bluffing, the games escalated. She suddenly flipped from cold and dismissive to super mom overnight. Packing the kids' lunches with little notes, acting sweet and affectionate in front of them, even kissing me on the cheek when she knew they were watching. But the second we were alone, the mask dropped. "You're not going to leave me. You're too weak. No judge is going to give you custody. I'm their mother, Ethan." It was like living with a stranger who had memorized my wife's face. One evening, I came home to find her throwing my clothes into a laundry basket. "What are you doing?" I asked. She looked at me dead in the eye and said, "If you want to play divorce, then pack your crap and go stay at Mark's. I'm not the one who's leaving this house." That night, the kids overheard us again. My daughter asked me quietly before bed, "Daddy, why is mommy always yelling at you?" That broke me. No child should ever have to ask that. Meanwhile, her lies got bolder. She claimed she was at yoga, but a friend of mine spotted her at a hotel restaurant 2 towns over, laughing with the same guy from the bar. When I confronted her, she smirked and said, "Maybe you should have gone to yoga with me, then you wouldn't be so uptight." I realized then she wasn't scared of losing me. She thought I'd never follow through. So, I doubled down. I met with my lawyer again, started gathering financial records, and even opened a separate bank account. Every step made me feel lighter, even though the situation at home was a minefield. Claire tried everything, screaming, crying, pretending to be remorseful for 5 minutes before snapping back into insults. But none of it worked anymore. I'd hit my breaking point, and there was no going back. The fallout wasn't just between us anymore. It was starting to affect the kids, the neighbors who heard the shouting, even my work performance. My whole life was in flames, but at least now, I was the one holding the extinguisher. The final straw came on a Wednesday night. Claire claimed she had a late meeting again, but this time I didn't bother arguing. I just tucked the kids into bed and sat at the kitchen table with my laptop, finishing up paperwork my lawyer had given me. Around midnight, she stumbled in, clearly buzzed, her heels dangling from her hand. She froze when she saw the papers spread out in front of me. Her eyes flicked over the words petition for dissolution of marriage. Her face twisted instantly. "You're actually doing this?" she sneered. "You're going to blow up our family because you can't keep your insecurities in check. Do you realize how pathetic you look?" I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just looked her straight in the eye and said, "No, Claire. You blew up this family. I'm just refusing to live in the wreckage." She launched into another tirade, calling me boring, weak, unlovable. But for the first time, none of it landed. It was like watching someone throw punches underwater. I'd been beaten down so much that I was finally numb to her venom. The next morning, I sat down with the kids at breakfast. I told them gently that Mom and Dad weren't going to live together anymore, but that we both loved them and that none of this was their fault. My son cried, my daughter clung to me, and my heart shattered all over again. But even in that pain, I knew this was the right decision. I filed the papers that afternoon. My lawyer assured me that given her behavior and my documentation, the second phone, the credit card charges, even texts I'd saved, custody would be fair. Maybe not full, but enough to protect the kids from her chaos at least part of the time. Walking out of that office, I felt something I hadn't felt in months: clarity. This wasn't the ending I ever wanted. But it was the one I needed. It's been a few weeks since I filed, and honestly, my life feels like it's been turned upside down. Some days I wake up with this crushing weight in my chest, wondering how the hell I ended up here. 12 years of marriage, 2 kids, a house that was supposed to be our forever home, and in the end, it all unraveled because of lies, selfishness, and betrayal. But here's the thing, as painful as it's been, I can finally see clearly now. For so long, I let Claire control the narrative. She made me feel paranoid, weak, pathetic, as she loved to say. Every time I caught her in a lie, she twisted it back on me until I doubted my own sanity. That's the thing about gaslighting, it eats at you so slowly that by the time you realize what's happening, you've already lost pieces of yourself. The night I caught her at the bar, I should have known it was over. But I wanted to believe in us. I wanted to believe she'd snap out of it, apologize, fight for our family. Instead, every day after that was a reminder that she'd already checked out long before I did. Her bitchy remarks, her constant deflections, the second phone, the hotel meetups, all of it painted the truth I didn't want to see. She didn't just betray me physically, she destroyed the foundation of trust we built our life on. The hardest part hasn't been losing her. It's been watching the kids struggle with the cracks in their world. My daughter clings to me more now, like she's afraid I'll disappear too. My son keeps asking if we'll all still spend Christmas together. I try to reassure them, but deep down I know things will never be the same. Divorce doesn't just split a marriage, it reshapes an entire family. And that's a grief I wouldn't wish on anyone. But here's what I've learned, and what I'd tell anyone reading this who suspects their partner is cheating: trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs because you don't want them to be true. The late nights, the secrecy, the sudden change in affection, those aren't just coincidences. And if your partner starts guarding their phone like it's the crown jewels, that's not privacy. That's secrecy. Another thing, don't let yourself be silenced by manipulation. Claire was a master at making me feel crazy for asking obvious questions. She'd turn everything into an attack on my character until I was too exhausted to keep pressing. But the truth doesn't disappear just because someone yells louder than you. I also realized that staying, for the kids, isn't always the noble choice people think it is. Watching their moms scream at me, watching me shrink into myself, that was teaching them the wrong lesson about love and marriage. Leaving isn't failure. Sometimes it's the bravest thing you can do to protect your kids from growing up thinking that kind of dysfunction is normal. So here I am, about to start over at 38. It's terrifying. Some nights the loneliness hits me so hard it feels like I can't breathe. But then I remind myself, loneliness is better than betrayal. Peace is better than constant chaos. And maybe, just maybe, one day I'll find someone who doesn't see me as boring or pathetic, someone who sees me as enough. If you're reading this and you're where I was a few months ago, second-guessing yourself, walking on eggshells, drowning in lies, listen to me, you are not crazy. You are not weak. And you do not deserve to spend your life begging for scraps of love from someone who has already given their heart to somebody else. Leaving is hard. It's brutal. It tears you apart. But staying in a marriage that's already dead, that'll kill you slowly. I don't know what the next chapter of my life looks like, but at least I get to write it myself. No more secrets, no more lies, no more being the last to know. Just me, my kids, and the chance to finally rebuild something real. And that's worth more than any illusion of a perfect marriage.